All right. Welcome to DCT.
Episode 18, barely legal. Ben, how do you like your Jesus? How do you like your Jesus? How do you like your tea? Hot or cold? Iced.
I'd say iced about 90% of the time. That other 10% is when I'm not feeling well.
Under the
A
weather.
little scratchy throat.
A little bit of warmth on that throat. It helps when you're sick. This is not a great start.
All right.
Let's get right into it. Playoffs are over for the NHL and the NBA.
It's the worst time of the year, dude.
It
All we
is.
have is WNBA and baseball, which WNBA, very interesting to watch lately, especially all that Caitlin Clark fights.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Okay, that was ridiculous. I'm sorry. I don't want to get sidetracked, but I thought that was getting a little silly.
I accepted it last year just because it was like, she's a rookie. Let's rustle her up a little bit. Now we're getting into the part where she's
Almost getting targeted.
She's favored for MVP right now, and she is just getting her shit rocked.
Also, they were like, her teammate really came to her defense. I was like, that was not really as impressive to me as I thought it was going to be. Like, when I saw the clip of her dragging dragging the girl down by her hair.
I thought it was pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie.
I don't like cheap stuff. I'd rather you go out there and punch him. Rather than no, but in hockey,
the guy wearing a fucking hockey helmet right now.
Well, I lost the playoffs, so this is my punishment. Part one is to wear this stupid thing. But regardless, she is getting targeted. Caitlin Clark is definitely getting targeted. But I like that she's responding on the score sheet and not getting bogged down in that other stuff.
Did you see her coach talking about the refs?
No.
She was like, everybody in the league is getting better except the officiating.
That has to be a fine.
And, it's 100%. I mean, WNBA probably going to be like $150. But they pan the camera over to Caitlin Clark.
Give me that little Caesar's gift card. This is ridiculous. We have a reputation in this league.
They pan the camera over to Caitlin Clark, and she's just like...
Oh, it was a press conference with coach and player.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little awkward. Well, she doesn't want to get fined. She's
not going to. Just the coach.
But it is nice of the coach to stick up for the players, and that's something that a lot of teams do. It's good to see. Credit to even Angel Reese's coach. She, you know what I mean. Like I do appreciate when you stand up for your team.
Yeah.
But playoffs are over for the NHL and the NBA. NHL, Edmonton Oilers lose in 6, as I predicted, to the Florida Panthers,
Congrats.
reigning back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. But I did not have Samuel Bennett winning the Conn Smythe.
I mean, you could argue that he shouldn't have won it on his own team.
No, I think you have 3 I would take 3 players on Florida.
3 over him.
I would take Barkov. This is not in any order, but I'd take Barkov, Reinhart, or Marchand. And honestly, I think Marchand had the best case for it.
Yeah.
6 goals in 6 games in the final. Dude's unreal. What a pickup for them.
Yeah.
Insane how well that worked out. And we said that's a dangerous pickup. He's
Yeah.
He's a playoff performer, and he showed it. That's a guy that I would want on my team badly. He's a UFA. But I had Connor McDavid winning the Conn Smythe.
It's okay.
Didn't go that way.
You still got 2 points out of it. So.
I did. Now, in the NBA, OKC.
OKC in 7. Series went longer than I was expecting.
You had him in 5, but you still had him winning.
I mean, Indiana, credit to Indiana. They played their ass off. I was not expecting them to come out looking like they did in Game 6. I know when I was watching it with my buddy, we were, after Game 5, we were like, they're just going to close it out.
Yeah.
In Game 6, that's going to be the end of it. And then they got blown out. So went to Game 7. And honestly, I think if Tyrese Halliburton doesn't
Get
tear
injured.
his Achilles in the first, I think it was like 7 minutes of the game.
Wasn't even 10. You think
Pacers
it goes
might
different?
Win. Pacers might win.
They weren't even. I mean, look, they went down by 20 a few times, but I mean, they clawed back every now and then.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think with Hallie, they maybe get that win.
Yeah.
But you know, it stinks.
Credit to OKC. I mean,
yeah,
they did what they were supposed to. Best team in the league this year, best record.
And you had Shea winning.
I
MVP.
did. Yeah. So I got 2 points there.
Yeah, you won the playoffs.
I did. I won it by.
I think. Ooh, man, I think that was 3 points. I think you stayed steady with 3.
It's either 3 or 2.
Yeah.
But
So no, hey, congratulations to the fat guy. I hate you so freaking much. and I'm getting a migraine in this.
What's your punishment now,
Well,
other than this stupid-ass helmet you're wearing
Part
right
1
now?
is the helmet to cover the hair, and then Part 2 will be you get to choose a color to dye my hair.
Hey, guys, let me know what color you want his hair dyed, because I will be listening to you. Right now, my best option...
Are you leaning platinum blonde?
I'm leaning black.
Black with my paleness. The contrast on that is going to be aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what? Might make me look a little bit younger.
Maybe
Could use a little
frosted
bit
tips.
I could use some euthanasia on me.
Okay.
I think I'll look fine with black hair. If I wear this helmet, you won't. Yeah.
Sure you will, buddy. Yeah, good luck wearing that helmet at your job.
I'm going to shave your beard silly, dude. I still get you for the Wizards.
You do.
So I'm
yeah.
excited. What I'm not excited for is how the Commanders have been treating Terry.
Oh, God, no, dude.
Let's get into this.
I do not understand why you have a guy like Terry McLaurin who has given everything to this franchise, and he comes out and says, hey, I want $7 million more.
I want a 30% raise.
And they're like, let's sit on that.
I don't understand what he's done to get this treatment.
No.
I understand. We talked about this earlier. You have a team who has a young quarterback still in his rookie deal.
Mm-hmm.
You have so much salary space. You know, your cap is free. You don't want to make any bad signings. You know,
Yeah.
we said don't get Kupp, don't do any of these legacy hires. Keep the mistakes to a minimum. But this is not a mistake.
No.
Giving Terry $30 million
This
is not a mistake.
This is the most sure thing we have on our team other than giving Jaden Daniels the contract extension when we do.
And I don't know if they're playing chicken with Terry right now to see if he can lower his cost. But even so, what are you going to do with that? What is he going to lower? 25? What are you going to do with that extra $5 million? I know it goes a long way, but not that long.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
Give the guy his $30 million. I mean, how many quarterbacks has he played with the Commanders?
Can I give you the list of quarterbacks?
Yeah, go
that
ahead.
Terry
He's
McLaurin
been
has
here,
played
what,
with?
6 seasons?
He'd been with the Commanders for 6 seasons, and these are the guys that he's played with: Ryan Fitzpatrick, Colt McCoy, Kyle Allen, Garrett Gilbert, Kyle Allen, Dwayne Haskin, Jacoby Brissett, Carson Wentz, Case Keenum, Alex Smith, Taylor Heineke, Sam Howell, Marcus Mariota, and Jaden Daniels.
Is that 14?
I believe so, if you did your counting right.
I'll be honest.
Honestly, I don't think he did.
I struggled near the end.
But
That's an insane. Averaging over 2 quarterbacks,
2 quarterbacks
a year. Is nasty work. And for him to put up good standard numbers while not having a quarterback, I'm sorry, you don't have a quarterback if you're switching up every season.
He's had, I think, 5,000-yard season.
Yeah, I mean,
With that lineup is incredible.
give the guy his money. And here's my thing. You have a proven player who's proven to play well with your quarterback. For me, compatibility is such a big issue in the locker room. I don't care if you're the best player. Look at Tyreek Hill. He didn't do great. And I think he's a fantastic player. But you took Patrick Mahomes away from him, who I think he gelled with on a different level. You can elevate your play style if you're with a team that you enjoy playing with. So many of these locker room teams that do well because they all want to be there. They buy into the team. Look at the Detroit Lions. I think a lot of those players are playing above their skill set because they're happy to be there. They enjoy the club. There's chemistry there, and it goes a long way.
I mean, to be fair, I would be pretty pissed off if I was Terry right now. You've
So hard to drink with a stupid bucket. Yeah, if I'm Terry, I'm upset.
dedicated your life to this team. Like, these 6 years, the Washington Commanders have been all you've known. You had to go through a 4-13 season last year. You had to go through countless freaking 7-9 seasons, 6-10 season, and they reward you by saying, I'm not going to give you an extension right now.
Well, that's the danger. As an organization, you're alienating a player that you want to sign. And it's not a little signing. It's not like he's holding out for 8 because he's expected to get 5 a year.
No.
This is a star player on your team.
Yeah.
So you expect him to, after this semi-arbitration, to come to your team after you basically saying you're not worth 30.
Yeah.
But fine, we'll give it to you at the end. If that's what you do, I don't think he's going to be thrilled with the organization.
No. A year after scoring 13 touchdowns, you get a real quarterback into that room.
But why are you creating problems? Why are you creating problems where they don't exist? You have a player who wants to be on your team. He's asking for what I think he would get at market value, maybe a little bit less. You have desperate teams out there that would take him for, I think, 35, maybe even 38. I just give him the money. I don't think it's an issue. But look, I'm not a GM.
I don't get it either because Adam Peters has been a wizard the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And who he signed, who he's extended, who he's let go. And this is how you're doing him? I just...
Yeah, there must be something else going on. Again, we don't know the term that he's asking for.
No.
I would doubt it's anything above 4 or 5 years. You know, if it's 4 years, I see you saying, all right, this maybe isn't the best deal. But salary cap goes up every year.
4.
That's what I'm saying. The salary cap goes up every year.
Yeah.
I mean, you're telling me in 3 years that contract's going to look terrible? No. I doubt it. I don't think it looks terrible now.
Next year, there's going to be 15 wide receivers that are paid $30 million most likely.
Yeah, just get in on it right now. Keep him on the team. You got a good thing going. Let's carry it over. But speaking about putting good things on your team, we have the NBA draft coming up. This is exciting. The Wizards are 6th overall. That's their first round pick.
I'm not even going to... I don't want to talk about how the Wizards are the 6th overall pick, but let's get into it.
So we have a good idea of who's going to go first overall.
Cooper Flag.
We have a good idea of who's going to go 2nd, 3rd, 4th. You always kind of know these first overall picks in the top 5. But
I think 1 through 5 is going to be pretty.
Yeah,
pretty
there might be a
easily
little
projected.
fallback, but I don't think any of the top 5 are falling out of the 5.
No.
So
Well, we'll see.
maybe, but let's talk about the Wizards and who they should pick. I want you to name 3 players you would be happy to take at 6th overall, and then I want to hear 3 players that you wouldn't want to take, that you'd want to stay away from, that are projected to go top 10. Let's go with your first player pickup. Who would you like to take at 6th overall for the Wizards?
I know a lot of people think that this is going to be an overdraft, and honestly, given the current state of the Wizards, I would shy away from an overdraft, but to me, it's not one at all, and that's going to be Derek Queen. I think that this guy, averaging 17 and 9 on a Maryland team that made it to the Sweet 16, he scored 27 points against the reigning national champions. He won Freshman of the Year when Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, both consensus top 5 picks, were also in that same conference.
And projected to win it.
He's he's from Baltimore.
Yeah.
Like, why do you not just bring him home and, see what he can do? I think that if you combine him with Sarr in that power forward center combo, I think they,
mirror each
gel
other well.
perfectly. I think, Derek Queen is going to be that guy who's the offensive player in that lineup, and then you've got Sarr, who can really just lean into his defensive capabilities now. So I want to see the two of them together.
Well, that way you're not putting Sarr out of his comfort zone.
Exactly.
And again, I want a guy who wants to score.
Yeah.
When you're not a good team, Caps did the same thing. You need to inject a little bit of fun into your locker room. Get a guy who just wants to go out there and have fun, score points. I don't care about defense right now. We suck. And not to be blunt, but you're losing.
Yeah.
You're losing bad. Go out there, create a fun locker room, draw players in. That's the way to do it.
People are like, he's undersized. I don't want him. I'm like, he's 6'10", 250 pounds.
Well, that's the thing. NBA undersize is laughable. Everyone in that draft is perfectly fine to be on a team.
Yeah.
Who would you steer clear from at 6th overall?
I would not go anywhere near Ace Bailey.
Ace Bailey.
I know everybody's going to give me shit for this, but you cannot take a guy that had for every 1.3 assists, had 2 turnovers, and put him into the Washington Wizards lineup. He is not going to gel well at all. I already know that. He's on his great day, he looks like the second best player in this draft. He's 6'7.5", 200 pounds. He's got the athleticism that a lot of guys want. It's very interesting too. The entire season they've measured him at 6'10" on ESPN.
Yeah.
And then he measured in at the combine at 6'7.5". So it's almost like he wasn't wearing shoes.
I don't even want to. We'll get into that later.
But he averaged 18 and 7 at Rutgers. When his jump shot is on, he looks awesome. It's just that inefficiency and just
Possession trouble. You can't bring that to a team that's lacking offensively and is already struggling with possessions.
You cannot bring a guy into the Washington Wizards locker room that when he gets any sort of pressure on him, completely drops in efficiency.
And that's in college. If you think the pressure is going to be less in the NBA, you're wrong.
You're going from Big Ten wings to NBA wings. That is a massive jump, and I just don't think he's ready for it.
I think he's going to marinate longer than people think. I don't think he's going to jump into the league and be a threat. I think he's going to take a little bit of time to learn discipline and patience and confidence.
Yeah.
Gaining that confidence and knowing what to do instead of throwing that ball away is going to work wonders for him. I think he's a great player, but I understand why you want to steer clear.
Yeah.
If you could pick a second player, let's say Dairy Queen's off the board, who are you taking at 6th overall for the Wizards?
Dairy Queen's off the board at 6. There's something going wrong
Yeah.
in this draft. But the guy that I think would be the most, I don't want to say promised pick, but the guy that has the highest floor, in my opinion, in this draft is Trey Johnson,
Okay.
the shooting guard out of Texas. This guy scored 20 points a game for them this year, shooting 40% from 3, 44% overall. He's the guy that says, I'm going to go out and get a bucket on every possession, and nobody really could stop him this year.
Yeah.
So I think that if you insert that into the Washington Wizards starting lineup this year, I'd love to see it. And yeah, I think he would start from day one, honestly.
Really?
I know you have Bub Carrington. I know you have Jordan Poole. He's like Jordan Poole, but good at basketball.
Well, like you said, he's an efficient scorer.
Yeah.
And he's consistent. And that's hard to get in the NBA. If it translates, I think that's a great pick.
Yeah.
Now, who was the second player you'd like to avoid at number 6 overall?
I do not want to go anywhere near Kaman Malawak.
Really?
I think that a lot of people are kind of overvaluing him right now. I could understand why, because he had such a successful year at Duke alongside Cooper. He has a 9'8" standing reach, which is obviously incredible. But a guy with those measurements and his skill set, I think, equates more into a Rudy Gobert than he does a Victor Wembanyama.
He doesn't have the dominance.
He doesn't have that offensive skill that guys at his size can have. He's more of a defensive guy. He's going to be I just think he's Alex Sarr 2.0.
Yeah, his offense isn't taking over a game.
So why do you have two of the same guys in the same lineup?
It's not necessary.
It doesn't make any sense to me. So I wouldn't go with him. I don't think he makes any sense for the Wizards.
I think that's fair. That's a good conversation about, BPA, best player available. Just because he happens to be there doesn't mean he's the right fit for your team.
Yeah.
So who's that third guy you would take at 6th overall for the Wizards?
I think Con Knipple would be a very interesting pick for her. Like I said, obviously numbers are a little bit deflated when you're playing alongside a guy like Cooper Flagg.
Well, you have to share points.
But he averaged 14, 4, and 3 this year, and he shot 48% from the field and 41% from 3. So he was very efficient in his game, and in that one game that Cooper Flagg got injured, he put up 28, 8, and 5.
Yeah, he carried that.
He carried that team. So I want to see him on a team where Cooper Flagg isn't.
Where he's given room.
There's nobody on the Wizards lineup right now that's anywhere near Cooper Flagg.
No.
So if you put him in there, I think a lot of people draw the Corey Kispert comparison to him.
Okay.
For obvious reasons. But I think that he could thrive much more than Corey does at the moment. Coming off the bench, scoring 2 threes a game.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think that's a bad pick at all. Like you said, that offensive consistency that the Wizards are just have none.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good pick. At 3rd, that you'd like to avoid, 6th overall for the Wizards, who would it be?
I didn't see a ton of mock boards going after this guy with the Wizards, but I did see a few. And just because of that, I do want to mention him. Jeremiah Fears, the guard out of Oklahoma. The thing that I don't like about him is obviously he's going to score a lot with that usage rate that he did. He had one of the highest ones in the country as a freshman guard, which is really unheard of. But he's undersized. He's 6'2" and he weighs 179 pounds. So I don't want to draft a guy to the Wizards that have that influx of guards that we were talking about earlier. Your Carrington, your Pools, your who else? George, I think, is listed at a guard right now, even though he's 6'7" for whatever reason. But you have an influx of guards on that team. I don't think you need more. And I think Fears might actually add more problems than solutions at the moment. I just think he's a project.
Well, I feel like you're picking between which average player are we going to play tonight.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in that
Exactly.
issue right now.
Yeah.
So no, that's completely understandable. I'm excited for the draft. I think the Wizards have a chance to make some good decisions, but I don't know. I think there could be some fallback this draft in the top 5. I think maybe Ace Bailey falls back a little bit.
I did see a mock draft earlier where we took Trey Johnson at 6, and then at like 15, Derek Queen was still available.
I don't think
so
he's going to
traded up and got both Trey Johnson and Derek Queen.
I mean, if you can make that happen.
I'll cry.
But that mock draft was definitely written by a Wizards fan. I don't
Shut
think
up. It wasn't me mock drafting, that's for sure.
I don't think that's going to happen. But if it does, I mean, crazy things happen at the draft, especially when a player gets taken unsuspectedly. It throws all the teams off the board. They have a set plan before the draft, so anything can change. Yeah. Draft nights are always crazy.
They really structure your team.
Yeah.
So, speaking of structuring teams, we're going to do a little game now where we insert ourselves as the GM of a certain team and try to make the moves in the off season that, they may or may not make.
Summer season surgery.
Exactly.
I like it.
So let's go ahead and start off with one of the teams that we talk about probably the most, or second most, on this podcast.
It was a good year for them.
It was. I mean, I had
lots to talk about.
Yeah. So we'll go with the Washington Capitals.
I'm very excited for this.
I know you are.
You all are going to hate me. I have some crazy ideas for the Washington Capitals. I'm a little bit of an armchair GM. There's a reason why.
Please don't unfollow the pod after this.
When you look at the centers that the Capitals have, you're set. I don't think you need to make any moves. You have Strome, Protas, McMichael, and Dowd. Right now they have PLD listed as a left wing. I know Protas has been on the wing a lot, but Protas has shared that he wants to be a center. It's where he feels the most comfortable. I think I would go in that descending order. I think I'd have Strome on the top line, Protas on second, McMichael give him the third line, and then have Dowd on that fourth. Woof. Left wings, you got Ovi, Pierre-Luc Dubois, and Duhaime. Realistically, you're not getting rid of PLD. He's got a no-trade clause. I think he's got like 4 or 8 teams available. You're going to have a hard time moving that contract. He did have a very good year with us, 60 points. He did well, but I don't think you're moving on him. Right wing, the people I'd keep is Wilson. I'd bring up Leonard, keep him on the fourth line. I think he could do well with Dowd, learn a lot from Dowd, become that power forward that I think he can be. And then I'd bring up Miroshnichenko. I like Miroshnichenko.
Yeah.
I think he's ready. I don't think he's going to be scoring 30 goals. And again, with Caps fans, you draft a Russian forward, they're like, is that the new Ovi? He's not the new Ovi. No, by no means is he the new Ovechkin, and that's fine. I think he excels in parts of the game that Ovi doesn't, but he's not going to be that guy, and that's totally fine. On defense, I'm going to keep Faravari, Chikrin, Alexiev, Roy, and McElrath. I'm keeping those 5D. I think they're fantastic. I like a big defensive core because I think it makes a huge difference come playoffs.
You like a big D?
I love the big D. And fucking dick. No, Dylan McElrath is one of my unsung heroes on the Washington Capitals. I think he's fantastic. He's been fantastic in Hershey. He's a great leader, great locker room presence. I'm happy to have a big, slow defenseman that can play the way he plays. He keeps people out of the slot. I love it.
Yeah.
I like Alexiev. He's rough on the ice and whether he's beating you up at a bar in Arlington. He's fantastic. I like Matt Roy a lot. He brought a lot. Chikrin's a great puck mover, and Faravari, I mean, he's the new Niskanen. He's underrated. He's so defensively sound. But I left some names off this list, some names that people might be a little curious about.
I think there's a Caps cornerstone.
There is a Caps cornerstone, but goaltenders, I'm keeping Logan Thompson, and that's it. So let's start off with the subtractions of the season. Right now, we have $9 million in cap space if you don't touch the Capitals at all. That's if you don't sign our restricted and unrestricted free agents. You got Lars Eller, some players like that I'm going to say goodbye to.
Yeah.
We never should have gotten Lars. But anyways, the subtractions I'm making, I'm getting rid of Rasmus Sandin at any cost. Someone take him. He's got $4.6 million on the cap. Get that out of here. I'm subtracting TVR. Trevor Van Riemsdyk had a great playoff, great postseason for a player that I really don't like, but I got to give him credit. He stepped up this season when we had injuries.
You want to get rid of a guy?
Yeah, go away. This was the best season I've seen him play for the Caps, and I want him gone. I want Sonny Milano gone. Sorry. He's not. He's had such large issues with Columbus, Anaheim. He goes away. He's like Vrana. Nowhere near as good as Vrana. I want him gone. That's $1.9 million added to the cap. And I want Charlie Lindgren gone. That's $3 million more to the cap. I think there are much better second goaltender options out there for cheaper.
Yeah.
So, I also want to get rid of John Carlson. Anyways, now
John Carlson.
That leaves us with $27 million.
You just skipped over the most important person on that list.
I am going to skip over that because I don't want to get killed. That gives us $27 million in cap space. And you have some great UFAs and RFAs this year. You have Mitchell Marner, and that is not someone I want on my team by any means. We are trying to make this team, the goal of this segment is to bring this team to a Stanley Cup.
Okay.
So how can we upgrade this team to bring them to a Stanley Cup level?
Who's your first addition?
My first addition is Vladislav Gavrikov.
Okay.
Big defenseman, 30 points this year, plays for Columbus, plays for LA. He's fantastic. Big-bodied defenseman, hits really well, great stick on puck, always utilizing that. You know, he watches the chest every time a forward comes at him. He isolates, keeps him to the outside. He has a great net front presence. We miss a large defenseman that can clear people out. We haven't had that for a while, in my opinion. That's why I'm so keen on McElrath and Roy. So I want to take Vladislav Gavrikov. They have him projected at an $8 million salary. That's fine. Let's take 8 away from the 27. We're left with $19 million to play with. Second player I want to pick up, it's a goaltender. I want to get Jake Allen.
Okay. To back up Logan?
I want to get Jake Allen to back up Logan Thompson. He's a great goaltender. He did really well with New Jersey, and that's a guy that I feel comfortable with. If Logan's out, I think Allen can win you 16 games in the playoffs. I think he's capable of that. Okay. He's a very sound goaltender.
Yeah.
He's big-bodied. I like him. He's got a lot of experience in St. Louis and now in New Jersey. I think he's great. Let's say you get him for $4 million because I think he's going to go up a little bit from his $3 million cap this year.
Yeah.
So that leaves you with $15 million. Now I'm adding Daniel Sprong. I'm bringing him back from the dead. This is a player that I never wanted to get rid of. I think we traded him to Seattle. I think he's fantastic. I love Daniel Sprong. He's got such a wicked shot. I'll never forget when he scored that goal, when he had a 2-on-1 with Ovechkin, looks at Ovechkin and says, "Sorry, buddy, I know how to shoot." And he scores. That was unreal. If he missed, I do think he would have sent the KGB after him. But no, I'm taking Daniel Sprong for $1 million.
Yeah.
He's cheap right now. I think he's at $7.75. You know, he's not making a lot of money, but I definitely take him back to bolster that, bottom six.
Yeah.
Next player I'm taking, this is a big splash. I'm taking a run at Marchand.
Marchand?
I would want Brad Marchand on my team. He's an unrestricted free agent. You saw what he just did in the playoffs. I'm a fool to think the Caps would be the only people after him.
Yeah, no.
You got to have, I would say, 16 teams looking at the possibility of adding this guy if Florida doesn't keep him. I don't know why you'd leave Florida. I can't think of a reason.
Cap space?
They'll make it for him.
Yeah.
Zito's a GM just like Vegas.
I mean, it's hard not to make cap space for a guy that has, 4 cups? 3 cups?
2.
Only 2. Oh.
He's got one with, 11 against the Canucks, and then heartbreak against St. Louis. Yeah, so he lost to St. Louis. Right. Yeah, I think he's got 2. This is his second. But you look at a GM like Zito. He's the one who got rid of Huberdeau off of a 119-point season and traded him for Tkachuk because he said, that's great. At the end of the day, we didn't win the cup. So I'd rather switch things up. So I could totally see him shedding some weight to keep Marchand.
Yeah.
But I would like to get him. They said he's projected to go for $8 million a year. I think we could get him for that. You have the space.
Yeah.
That brings you down to about, we were at 14.
Yeah.
So that brings you down to $6 million.
Dude, your math is off the chart today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I'm adding Marchand. I'm adding Vladislav Gavrikov. I'm adding Jake Allen. I'm adding Daniel Sprong. The way I'm getting rid of Carlson, who has an $8 million contract, I'm trading him to the Nashville Predators.
Oh.
a team that struggled the most with goals for and goals against. One of the lowest in goals for, one of the highest in goals against this season. Terrible defense, couldn't get the offense started.
Yeah.
Stamkos and Marchessault and O'Reilly just didn't spark. It didn't do anything for the team. Roman Josi, they said he's going to play. You know, unfortunately, he's got some health issues right now, but he's fighting through it. A fantastic defenseman. I think you give them John Carlson. That adds offense to their defensive prowess and increases their defensive stability. Having a 1-2 of Roman Josi and John Carlson, even though they're a little bit past their prime, that's a fantastic duo. In return, I ask for a small favor of Jonathan Marchessault.
Ooh.
He's on a $5.5 million contract.
Yeah.
That leaves you, I believe, $1.5 million in cap space for the Caps?
Yeah.
But Marchessault, that's another Brad Marchand as far as I'm concerned. A playoff performer, a bulldog, knows how to get it going. Reminds me a lot of TJ Oshie, which I know a lot of Caps fans wish we still had that. I'm glad that he's focusing on his health. I wish him the best in his retirement. I do want to replace a player like that.
Yeah.
You know, you got guys like Strome, you got guys like Protas and McMichael and PLD. I think they're great, talented players. I don't think they got that dog. I don't see them going to the corners the way I want to. Protas more than any of them. And Strome can fight a little bit, you know, in those corner battles. But I want guys that are willing to get greasy.
Yeah.
You got Wilson. You got Ovi. He's getting a little old, you know. But I want a player that can go into those corner battles, win, and take that puck out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Get into the zone, dump and chase, So that's why I'm taking Marchand and Marchessault. I think that adds a lot of depth to your playoff team. It sucks to see Carlson go if we were to do this, which we won't. This is all fun and games. And this isn't about the future. This might screw your team over for the future, but this is about bringing a team to a championship level. Those are the moves I would make.
I mean, how sick would it be if Ovi won the Stanley Cup in his final year with those moves?
And again, they said that this is Ovi's final year. I'm not convinced on that. I think that's an easier thing to say.
I mean,
I think he's feeling it out.
If he wins the cup,
if you win the cup, you got to go. You got to
great...
learn a lesson from Brady, and you got to say, "I'm leaving." Brady should have left. Now hindsight's 20/20.
I mean, to be fair, Michael Jordan should have left and not come back.
Really, you don't think he should have come back?
No. I know I'm a Wizards fan.
I know. Well, talk about screwing a team over for the future, but
yeah,
I do think. Yeah, I don't know, man. I even kind of like Brady coming back.
Brady coming back cost his family.
He did give up one ring to get another, but he did trade.
He didn't get a ring though.
Well, when he went to the Bucks.
Well, I'm saying
that's when the relationship soured.
No, the relationship soured when he said he was coming back after he retired.
I thought it was after the Taekwondo instructor. No,
well, that too.
Yeah, that's. No, I think what you're saying is if Ovi wins that cup, I'm check, please. I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, you've done it.
What more is there?
There's nothing. 1,000 goals. I'm sorry, I don't care about 1,000 goals.
I don't care.
Gretzky wasn't near 1,000 goals. I don't need to be near 1,000 goals. You hit 900 and something. You know, if he ends up with 940, 930, come on, are you kidding me? I don't think someone breaks that for at least 10 years.
Yeah.
Which I know doesn't sound like a lot, but scoring's getting ridiculous now. These players are fantastic.
McDavid.
But. No, I mean, people were like, Bedard's going to be a 50-goal scorer. Dude hasn't hit. I don't know what he hasn't hit, but he's not. They project all these crazy stats.
Yeah.
So rarely do you see people reach them.
I mean,
McDavid and McKinnon, you can say those are the new Ovi and Crosby. But Ovi and Crosby were different, man. They brought it from day one. And so did McDavid and McKinnon. McKinnon took a little bit longer. And they're goats, in my opinion. You know, they're fantastic for their teams, but we're just so blessed to have seen what we saw.
Quality product.
It is. Well, that was an exciting episode.
Yeah.
We covered a lot.
We did.
That was a very statistical episode. We do appreciate you sticking with us. We know that was heavy on the autism, but we try to keep it at bay for as long as we can.
What are you talking about? I didn't spend like 2 hours researching stats for these guys and picking of the 18 different players that the Washington Wizards might get.
I made it seem calm, but the cap gymnastics I went through to make sure this worked was headache provoking. But tell me, if you're a Caps fan, Do you want to see them try to get Marchand? We have $9 million in cap space this year.
Yeah.
You have a few issues on the front end to address. You could keep the defense, be totally fine. Don't get rid of Carlson. Keep it the same. You still have room to get a player like Brad Marchand. You got $9 million to play with. You could even snag a guy like Bennett.
Yeah.
You know, which one would you take? I'd take Marchand.
Yeah. And let us know what you think. Wizards, number 6 pick.
Who are you taking? Who are you taking?
And who do you definitely not want to take?
Cooper Flagg. Ugh. You don't want me. I don't want you.
We'll never know if he wanted us.
I'd give up my girlfriend for Cooper Flagg. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of DCT. As always, we love and appreciate you. Like, follow, share with your friends.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Don't do that, but just share with your friends. Let them know that you listen and waste your time here at DCT, the best place to waste your time. Thank you, guys.
Have a good week.